Please join me in a moment of silence to remember our military personnel and the frontline healthcare workers, those in our community who have recently lost loved ones, and to express our gratitude for having made it to graduation in spite of this pandemic. Thank you. As Senior Class President for the Rigby High School Class of 2020, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to these commencement exercises. Seated behind me are the members of the Board of Trustees, Mrs. Angie Robison, Chairman, Mr. Leon Clark, Vice Chairman, Mr. David Grant, Treasurer, Mr. Keith Nelson, Mr. Bruce J. Byram, Mr. Michael Peterson, and Mrs. Leanna Poole, Trustees. In our district and school administration, Mr. Chad Martin, Superintendent, Mrs. Sherry Simmons, Director of Secondary Education, Mr. Brian Lords, Principal, Mr. Abshire and Mr. Barry Parks, Vice Principals. Seated behind the graduating class are the Rigby High School faculty and staff. We are grateful to all these people who have made our education possible. Members of the school board, superintendent, administration, faculty, staff, parents, friends, and fellow students. I want to start off by thanking you all for voting me in as the senior class president. This year has been so much fun, and I wouldn't trade this experience for anything. You know, this whole senior year experience from beginning to end has taught us all a lot. 1, that getting dress coded over and over does not result in the loss of your diploma. 2, baby powder at football games is a big hit with the parents. And 3, especially with our last senior events being canceled, it is so important to savor the moments that we have, while we still have them. Senior year is the year that is always being glorified. I mean, an entire High School Musical movie was based off of senior year. Looking back on all the fun we had, Powder Puff, we actually won. Also winning some of the class cheers in the assemblies. Biased or not, we won. Winning the first ever football state championship, having the best homecoming dance ever. We all have our own moments that we will always think about relating to the fun times we had our senior year. Some specific to you, and some we share as an entire class of 360 people, which I think is kind of cool. We will always have the memories. As we all left the lovely middle school and roamed around the ginormous hallways of the high school, we were promised as every year passed that the time would fly by, which we have all discovered this promise was true. I mean, I remember our first real high school pep assembly, being shuffled into the gym and being told to shout our graduation year. It was terrifying and exciting. It really feels like just yesterday that we had to stay at the school for lunch. As we've all grown up, developed our own opinions on the world, it is so important to remember what made you that way. Whether some of us stay in Rigby, Idaho our whole lives, or move away to pursue our dream life, I don't doubt that Rigby High School will always have a lasting impression on us. I pray that you will all strive to become the amazing people you are, and I hope that you really are a special class, or I know that we are really a special class. We are the class that was affected by an unexpected turn of events. We are graduating in the year 2020. Before I end this speech, I want to thank some people. My parents for pushing me to do things I never would have ran for if they hadn't believed in me. I wouldn't be giving this speech to you today if it wasn't for their support. Thank you, Mrs. Mickelson, for being an uplifting and hardworking example for everyone, speaking for Student Council. And Mr. Lords, thank you for putting up with me and Claire in your office every day, asking every little question about every little thing. And Jody as well. Actually, the whole office, really. I don't have many words left to describe the times we have shared, or even any knowledge of how to portray the memories with complete justice. I have secretly been filming all of you throughout this year, obnoxiously videoing every cheer we did at every game, and every game at every assembly. For this reason, I've created a video to show our parents and faculty, and everyone else watching, what high school really meant to us. Before the video switches, I want to say that many of you have had a real impact on me, and you probably don't even know it. So thank you so much. I will never forget some of the best times of my life that have happened because of all of you. I love you guys, and hope to see you at the 5 or 10 year class reunion.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time.
It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life.
I've had the time of my life. No, I never felt like this before. Yes, I swear it's the truth, and I owe it all to you. I've had the time of my life. No, I never felt like this before.
Forever young, I wanna be forever young. Do you really wanna live forever, forever and ever?
I will remember you.
Forever young.
Will you remember me?
And I'll tell you
all about it when I see you again. When I see you again. And I've had the time of my life. I hope you had the time of your life.
Before I begin, I'd like to thank a few people who helped me get to where I am today. I'd like to thank my parents for their never-ending support and encouragement, my teachers for their understanding, patience, and time and dedication to my education. I'd like to thank all of my classmates. You have all played a role in my high school experience, so thank you all for making it a good one. Lastly, I'd like to thank the administration. They have felt much sympathy for us and have done everything in their control to make our senior year as normal as possible in midst of global pandemic. So here we go. Dear class of 2020, it has been a long road here. It all started in kindergarten, our first experience at school. We made some of our first friends and learned to count to 20, and maybe even 21. It was luxurious then, and with frequent snacks and maybe even a nap time. Then it was on to first grade. We had our first feelings of being big kids. We were at school all day rather than only half days. We learned how to read words as well as a clock. We could finally count to some big numbers, like 100. Then it was on to second grade. In second grade, South Fork was built and opened, and some of us had to leave friends for the first time and go to the new school. But we met many new friends at South Fork. In second and third grade, we began to learn to read more difficult sentences, and we were expected to use context clues to figure out big words. Recess was our escape from our newfound big kid life, and the place that was crowded. Swings were all occupied, and some of us learned to flirt by chasing our crushes around the playground. Soon, we were in fourth grade. We were taking ISATs and reading some of our first novels. Fourth grade had our Idaho history projects, as we learned everything from our state bird to our state flower, and learned how the state came about. Fifth grade, we wrote one of our first multi-page typed essays in a competition for the Lions Club. It was our last experience of elementary school, and we were the big kids on campus, but we were ready and scared of middle school. A short 1 year later, we were finally there. We were in middle school. For the first time, our class was all together. We lost our beloved recess, but the 5-minute break in between passing periods was a good compensation. We struggled and filled with our stubborn lockers on the daily, and we formed many new relationships, many of which we still have to this day. We joined our first clubs and had our piñatas hanging throughout the cafeteria. We learned of our American history as we ventured through Ellis Island. 7th and 8th grade, we started to realize how soon high school was. It was the years of math and science. We got our first taste of algebraic expression and ratios, and we learned about how our Earth works. 9th grade, we were petrified yet so excited. We were officially high schoolers. We were the babies of the school, and our first day was spent wandering around the hallways trying to find our classes. It was the year of voice cracks and high-pitched class cheers and pep rallies. We played our first high school sports and sat in our first student sections. And we got involved in clubs that were only imaginable in middle school. 10th grade, we were much more comfortable in the high school. We went into the year with confidence that we were not the annoying little freshmen anymore. Now, we were the ones who were annoyed by them. We took our first scary nationwide test as we learned about tomatoes and the dreaded PSAT. This is the year most of us began driving, and we took advantage of it. We took advantage of the open campus, and cars would load with friends as we headed to the whole 2 restaurant options we have in Rigby. 11th grade, we were finally the upperclassmen. We started to actually have a chance to win the class cheers. We took the SAT and had our last year of the ISAT, #blessed. Many of us took advantage of taking no math our junior year. Sorry to the class of 2022. Senior year began to become a realization as we took our last finals as juniors and headed out the doors for summer break. It all led up to this, senior year. I think most of us came into senior year expecting it to be special. We don't really know exactly what we were expecting, but we know it wasn't this. The summer before was full of college applications and a slight fear of the unknown. But before we knew it, it kicked off at Rigby Lake for the senior sunrise. From there, it was first try. Our class started fast, making history and leaving a mark in the school. We won the first ever football state championship, and if there was competition, we would have had the best student section and the best band in the state too. Then it began snowing and it was second try. We began to get anxious as how fast first try flew by, and we were almost at the halfway mark. Second try kicked off as it got cold outside, and we lucked out and Mother Nature gave us many snow days. We began realizing how soon college was as we began receiving email after email. Late second try, coronavirus jokes began to spread the school. Miss Mickelson, I told you this was going to happen. Before we knew it, second try was over, and we were beginning our final try of high school. It started with sanitation to the max. Clorox wipes were silver, hand sanitizer was gold, and toilet paper were diamonds. Roughly 2 weeks into the try, we were granted a 2-week spring break, which quickly turned into a month spring break, which ultimately led to online school. Our senior year seemed to be falling apart. Nothing was going right. However, look at us right now. Class of 2020, we made it. It was not ideal by any means, but we will forever be remembered in the history books. No matter what our future looks like and holds, we can all share this strange bond due to this global pandemic. Friends, I'm going to say it one more time. We made it. So, to the class of 2020, I'm extremely excited and proud to say that after tonight, we are no longer Padawans, but we are Jedi Masters.
There are many scholars in the class of 2020. Several students have worked hard to maintain a 4.0 grade point average throughout their entire high school careers. I will read their names and ask that they stand where they are, and at the end of the list, we can honor them at once for their dedication and hard work. The 4.0 students for the class of 2020 are Joshua David Archibald, Joyanne Bills, Kevin Andrew Boyle, Brianna Nicole Brown, Teresa Kim Doe, Seth Fielding, Jared Vaughn Jenkins, Bethany Sky Jones, Miriam Alicia Martinez, Mackenzie Meekum, Michaela Ellen Reck, Michaela Marie Stuckey, Danny Camille Thompson, Jared Brigham Wood, Brigham J. Youngstrom. Rigby High School chooses the Valedictorian and Salutatorian according to a formula designed to reward students for excellence in more than grade point average. We feel that the truly exceptional student will have shown sustained achievement while enrolled in demanding courses rather than taking the easiest route to a straight A average, and will also demonstrate excellence through his or her score on a national standardized test such as the ACT or the SAT. This year's honorees were chosen using the following percentages. 50% of the score was based on the student's GPA. 30% of the score was based on the student's score on the ACT or SAT. 20% of the score was based on having completed 12 or more advanced placement or dual enrollment credits.
Good evening, my name is Lorraine Prater. I teach at the Rigby High School, and it is my honor to introduce this year's salutatorian. He is very accomplished among a great group of students that I have had the pleasure and privilege of getting to know in the classroom and during Scholastic Bowl competitions. His accomplishments include a 4.0 GPA, 33 ACT composite score, which comprises of a 34 ACT on math and science, and a 32 ACT on reading and English. He also had a 1390 on his SAT. He is one of 2 Idaho delegates for the National Youth Science Camp. He got 1 silver and 3 bronze medals from Science Olympiad. He sang in Troilairs. He was a chamber orchestra violinist. He was a member of the Scholastic Bowl team that ranked first in the Eastern Idaho Scholastic Bowl Galileo Division. He was nominated 3 years in a row for the East Idaho's Honors Orchestra, and he has received the Utah State University's non-resident presidential scholarship. Cindy and Joe Wood can be proud for raising such responsible young adults that have been and are a pleasure to get to know and work with. All of these things and more add up to one accomplished student, Jared Wood.
What a weird year. A pandemic canceling most of our senior year, along with the senioritis pandemic making that wasn't canceled even harder to get through. But we did it. This entire year has been rough for everybody. We, as the graduating class, are in a unique transition period where we are leaving the house and starting on our own life's journey. Wherever that may take us, we all have to learn how to become adults, fending for ourselves, making decisions that will change the course of our entire life, even paying taxes, and that is hard. But remember, every adult has been a teenager once, and everyone has had to learn how to be an adult. That's life, and there's no way around it. We all have to go through this transition, and people have proved that it is possible. It might take some effort, but we will get there. As hard as life can be, it is the attitude that we approach it with that can change our outlook the most. Our attitude is one of the only variables we have almost full control over, and it is the easiest of them to fix. A positive and optimistic attitude will allow for a better life. We and everybody around us will be happier, and a happy life is a successful one. On multiple occasions, I have been told that if I like my job, I will never work a day in my life. I think that this attitude can be used in almost any instance in life. If we enjoy our life, we have been successful. A happy person that barely gets by, in my opinion, has a better life than an unhappy person with more than enough. Of all the things that we receive or earn in life, time is the only one that we get evenly. No one gets more than another, no one gets less. We all receive it 1 minute at a time. I suggest that we use it wisely. We can't get more of it if we waste it, and using it grudgingly is just as bad as not using it. Benjamin Franklin once said, "Dost thou love life? Then do not squander time, for that is the stuff life is made of." So use it gratefully. Be happy for the opportunities in your life. Make the most of the time you have with your family, friends, acquaintances, anybody that you interact with. Smile at people that you interact with. You'll make their day better, and make your own better accordingly. Just because you can't physically see them doesn't mean that you can't interact. Shoot them a text, post something positive on social media, even call them if you need to. This positive attitude will make life more enjoyable than almost anything else can, and that is what we should all be aiming for. It may take some practice, some effort, but it will be worth it. It is what will allow us to endure this life with grace.
It is my honor and privilege to present to you Jared Jenkins as Rigby High School's valedictorian. Jared is the product of amazing parents, Ben and Karen Jenkins. Jared has maintained a 4.0 GPA throughout high school and has completed over 30 AP and college credits. As an avid scouter, Jared has been a great leader as he taught at Camp Little Lemhi for 4 summers and ultimately earned the rank of Eagle Scout. He sharpened his leadership skills and completed the National Youth Leadership Training, Cedar Badge, NYLT. In his church community, he has been a great example and held various leadership positions. He qualified for the Summer Academy at Boise State University and the NASA Ames Research Center to represent Idaho as a science and aerospace scholar. Jared is very interested in science, technology, engineering, and math. This interest in STEM led him to actively compete in a variety of clubs and competitions. He competed in Science Olympiad, earning a total of 6 medals. He competed in Scholastic Bowl, helping the team earn Division Champion. He joined the ASME-sponsored Mechatronics Club and furthered his building and programming skills. He later designed a laser alarm clock and entered it in the Idaho Science and Engineering Fair and earned a silver medal. To illustrate the level of dedication Jared has, he went an entire year without sugar just so that he can earn a 3D printer. My personal favorite club that Jared joined is robotics. Jared competed successfully in VEX robotics his entire 4 years in high school, and a little in middle school as he watched his older brother compete. He earned judges' awards and tournament finalists and represented Rigby well at state. Though Jared might come off as being quiet, I have watched him grow from a shy, timid freshman into an outstanding young man with a very rich sense of humor. I would like to share my fondest memory of Jared in robotics club. Jared would often write jokes on my board or riddles, and they would always make my day. There was one that he wrote that went something like this. This ceiling isn't the best, but it's definitely up there. Jared might not be the next Einstein, but he's definitely up there. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting Rigby High School's valedictorian, Jared Jenkins.
One day, during my sophomore year, as I was walking to my English class, I had an idea that at the time seemed hilarious. I came into the classroom, turned to one of my friends, and said, "Hey, did you finish that essay that's due today?" There was no paper due that day, so as you can imagine, he panicked a bit before I revealed the joke. I thought it was great, so I repeated it. A few weeks later, I walked into class and asked, "Did you finish your essay?" At this point, he turned around, reached into his backpack, and pulled out some papers. He said, "Yes. Did you?" At first I thought he grabbed a random assignment trying to get me back, but as I looked around the room, everyone else was pulling out papers and handing them in. That's when it dawned on me. There was a paper due that day. This story is just one example of something that every person experiences on an almost daily basis: failure. There are two main mindsets that people resort to when confronted with failure: fixed mindsets and growth mindsets. Those with a fixed mindset see failure, especially repeated failure, as a sign that they are doomed to fail again. They convince themselves that they are failures. On the other hand, people with growth mindsets see failure as an opportunity to improve. They know that their experience is valuable, and they use it to avoid future mistakes. We've all been told to develop a growth mindset and learn from our mistakes, but rarely does anyone explain how to do it. Through hours of extensive research and my vast experience with making mistakes, I have found 3 things we can do to develop a growth mindset and learn from our mistakes. I call them the 3 A's. The first A is attitude. Expect mistakes. Everybody makes them because life is trial and error. It is crucial to admit that you messed up, but realize that failure is not final, and do not fear it. We may have times when we completely forget to write an essay, but that doesn't mean we cannot pass the class. After messing up, we must remember that a mistake can be a lesson learned. The next A stands for analysis. In order to learn from our mistake, we must first determine why we made that mistake in the first place. One of the best methods of finding the root of the problem is called the 5 whys. After identifying the mistake, ask why it happened. When you figure out what caused the mistake, ask why that happened. Repeat this process 5 times or until you find the root of the problem. For example, let's pretend that there was a student named Johnny who fell asleep in class. We've identified the mistake, so now we can ask why. Why did Johnny fall asleep in class? The answer is he was tired. We can then ask, why was he tired? The answer is he did not get enough sleep the night before. We can then ask why again. Why didn't he get enough sleep? And the answer is he stayed up late working on a paper for his English class that he put off till the last minute. And we repeat this process until we can find the root of the problem. By using the 5 whys, we can find what we need to change. This method works for individuals, small businesses, and even major corporations. We have to be cautious when we do this, because we can develop what is called paralysis by analysis. That is where we focus on analyzing the situation too much, and we forget to take any action at all. The third and final A stands for action. The first thing we must do when we make a mistake is apologize to the people who are affected by it and do everything possible to repair the damage. After that, we need to make a plan to avoid the same failure in the future and stick to the plan, regularly checking our progress and adjusting the plan accordingly. Most of the time, we should not depend on willpower alone. We should make it harder for us to fail again. One of the easiest ways to do this is by involving other people. Friends, family members, and coworkers can help us stay focused and can remind us of important details and deadlines. Of course, we are also free to find more creative ways of preventing our own mistakes. For example, one woman, to cure herself from unhealthy spending habits, froze her credit cards in a block of ice so she could not use them. As we experience the mistakes and failures of life, having the right attitude by admitting that we are wrong, analyzing our mistakes by figuring out why we were wrong, and taking action to prevent us from future mistakes will help us turn any failure into a lesson learned. I've talked long enough, so in the words of Winston K. Pendleton, I will stand up to be seen, I will speak up to be heard, and now I will shut up to be appreciated.
The class of 2020 proudly presents a lighted sign at the entrance of Rigby High Lane. We now go forward into our lives with the light our education has brought to us, and hope this sign will light the way for others to follow.
The senior class of 2020 expresses our thanks to Mrs. Vonnie Lou Brougham for playing the organ. For the past 44 years, she has accompanied the graduation exercises. On behalf of the graduates, staff, and community, we present to her this floral arrangement as a token of our appreciation for her service and dedication.
Ladies and gentlemen, graduates, members of the Board of Education, school district administration, community members, parents, and guests, we welcome you to this evening's virtual commencement exercises. If you asked me if I've ever thought that I would be conducting a graduation from the Motorview Drive-In, I would have told you no, and then I would have thought that either you or I were going crazy. As principal of Rigby High School, it is my privilege to inform you that with the assistance of these remarkable teachers, counselors, and administrators, I have carefully reviewed the grades, credits, and tests of each graduate. It is my honor to certify that each has completed all requirements of the Jefferson County School District Number 251 Board of Education. Each graduate has fulfilled all state of Idaho tests and curriculum requirements, and is thereby eligible to participate in this graduation ceremony. Based upon careful review from the Rigby High School faculty and staff, and based upon their recommendation to the Board of Education, and through the power vested in me by the Jefferson County School District, it is my pleasure to introduce you to the Rigby High School graduating class of 2020. In addition, we have 6 students that are in the process of completing the requirements for the associate's degree from the Idaho State University. They are wearing a stole to signify that accomplishment. Miss Angie Robison, President of the Jefferson County Board of Education, will accept the class.
On behalf of the Board of Trustees of Jefferson School District 251, I proudly accept the graduates of Rigby High School Class 2020. I congratulate you on such a great accomplishment. You have experienced a year like no other class has. You are living through something that is new to everyone. It is a hard thing because there are so many great things tied to being a senior in high school as well as graduation. The way you respond right now will tell a lot about you. I'm sure you have all had feelings of doubt, disappointment, sadness, and you're probably just a little bit mad about the whole thing. But I was recently reading a book, and it was talking about a hard situation that the author's family had been going through. And the man said to his wife, "Someday you will tell people about this time in your life, and when you do, you will laugh about your challenges and the hard things you went through." He said, "Why wait until then to enjoy it? Enjoy it now." I thought a lot about those 3 words, enjoy it now. So many times in our lives we are disappointed in the place we are in. We think we will be happier in a few years or when we finish this or that, but why not enjoy life now? How you have reacted to this quarantine will show quite a bit about your attitude. Attitude is huge in making the difference in how we act when we are faced with difficult things. This won't be your only hard thing in life. In fact, you'll look back after moving into your adult life and you will think high school was pretty great. There will be hard things to deal with in every part of your life. This is just the beginning, but the attitude you choose to have will make all the difference. You have a choice that only you can make, so hopefully as you go through hard things, you can choose to enjoy it now. I love this quote by Abraham Lincoln. He said, "And in the end, it's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years." You only have one life to live, and how you choose to live it and what you choose to do with that life is totally up to you. I hope as you make decisions and you make your way through all the adventures that lie in your future, you can choose to enjoy it now. Thank you.
Now presenting your 2020 senior class. Aaron Henry, Aaron Salgado, Abby Gunderson, Abby Spencer, Abisai Chavez, Addison Byington, Adelaide Bingham, Alex Linsky, Alexa Browning, Alexander Clark, Alexis Birmingham, Alexis Hansen, Alexis Kirkpatrick, Alexis Miller, Alexis Walton, Alyssa Ketchum, Alyssa Shepard, Amber Anderson, Amy Gunderson, Ana Clara Hernandez,
Andrea Linares Diaz, Andrew Powell, Andrew Rolfe, Andrea Hutchins, Angelina Smith, Anthony Syke, Ashley Acosta, Ashley Lackey, Aspen Lees, Aspen Lords, Audrey Godfrey, Audrey Mortz, Austin Eames, Austin Fulmer, Austin Woods, Avery Johnson, Becca Finn, Belinda Bird, Bennett Butikofer, Benton Poole, Bethany Jones, Blair Price, Braylee Rhodes, Branwyn Jackson, Brendan Behan, Brian Miller, Brianna Brown, Brianna Larson, Bridger Magleby, Brigham Youngstrom, Brindy Shipper, Britton Barrett, Brock Packer, Brooke Bishop, Brooke Holt, Brooklyn Grover, Brooklyn Taylor, Brooklyn Byington, Bryson Uffins, Briley Bono, Bryson Bosch, Bryson Shelton, Caleb Peterson, Cammie Spencer, Carlos Flores Castro, Carson Bingham, Carson John, Carson Johnson, Cassidy Kent, Caitlin Evans, Cheyenne Ertz, Christian Fredrickson, Christian Montoya, Christina Morris, Clayton Keller, Cody Cude, Colby Smith, Colton Jacobson, Connor Stubbs, Connor Martin, Cortland Plumley, Courtney Morgan, Courtney Woodhouse, Creed Cox, Kimora Short, Dakota Clark, Dallas Kofed, Dallin Cole, Dallin Meekum, Dallin Spencer, Damian Harris, Danny Thompson, Daniel Talavera, Daniela Villalobos, David Alvarez, David Fife, David Resendez, Dawson Bernard, Delaney Nuttall, Derek Pernude, Diana Vasquez, Dulce Ayala Barbosa, Dustin Hahn, Dylan Davis, Dylan Hokinson, Dylan Pulsifer, Dylan Watson, Edgar Certain, Edgar Silva, Edufran Sensen, Elise Lundberg, Elizabeth Morris, Ella Baca, Ellie Simmons, Elska Valvanova, Emily Whiting, Emma Anderson, Emrianne Rico, Eric Easton, Eric Mendoza, Ethan Kisner, Ethan Thompson, Eva Silviera, Evan Shepard, Felicia Elmquist, Flavio Toma, Gabriel Hoops, Gabriel Serreras, Gage Oler, Garrett Hill, Garrett Truble, Gary Rangel, Garrett Westra, Grace Bagley, Gracie Shippen, Gregory High, Gwendolyn Love, Haley Jones, Hannah Bird, Hannah Bischoff, Harley Daw, Harold Sanchez Carrillo, Haston Camphius, Hayden Gay, Hunter Bidwell, Hunter Moore, Hunter Riley, Hunter Sessions, Hunter Squires, Ian Marler, Ivan Johnson, Ivy Webster, Jacelyn Harrop, JC Hawk, Jackson High, Jackson Plagman, Jacob Kurtner, Jacob Grover, Jacob Thornton, Jaden Jones, Janiyah Keeler, Jacqueline Raymond, Jared Jenkins, Jared Wood, Jared Burnett, Jasmine Mario Ganoa, Jabez Escobar, Jaden Struess, Jaylee Rosenberg, Jason Gessel, Jasmine Barrientos, Jeffrey McKinley, Jens Nielsen, Jesse Kelly, Jess Bradshaw, Jesse Riggs, Jessica Ashman, Jessica Castle, John Wood, Joey Eckersell, Jordan Stone, Joseph Black, Joseph Gates, Joshua Archibald, Joshua Smith, Joshua Chuheke, Josie Weber, Joanne Bills, Julia Gordon, Julie Sorensen, Justice Moon, Caden Larson, Kaylin Tweed, Caden Nelson, Caitlin Van Gorkum, Kaylee Salisbury, Cameron Larson, Carly Cordingley, Cassidy Barnes, Caitlin Grant, Caitlin Chase, Katie Orgel, Kadrina Castaneda, Kayla Harris, Caleb Judy, Kaylee Linsman, Kaylee Holloway, Keegan Thompson, Keegan Wolfensberger, Kelly Rackham, Kelson Peterson, Kenbury Gold, Kent McCosh, Keslin Black, Kevin Boyle, Kiffin Finn, Kinley Wilding, Colby Osborne, Colby Stinger, Christina McCrae, Christine Jackson, Kylie Mortensen, Kyla Duwallo, Kylie Hancock, Kylie Wiley, Kyler Coles, Kylie Judy, Kyson Parkinson, Landon Cook, Landon Smith, Lauren Jones, Leighton Mikesell, Leslie Jeffson, Liam Siniceros, Liesel Doherty, Lindsay Brinkerhoff, Logan Thornley, Luca Silva, Luke Scott, Luke Smith, Luke Tapp, Luke Taylor, Lyndon Hunter,
Macy Quigley, Mackenzie Bradshaw, Madeline Cox, Madison Price, Madison Campbell, Magdalena Montoya, Maggie Hickman, Michaela Stuckey, McKinley Drollinger, Malachi Olavison, Malachi Trude, Mandy Butters, Mark Piazza, Marcus Barnes, Mari Wrench, Marissa Merrill, Marissa Neville, Marley Harris, Martin Panzo, Mason Barney, Matthew Selman, Maxwell Ridley, McGuire Jepson, Mackenzie Meekum, Megan Durant, Melissa Fisher, Melissa Lampus, Micaiah Moss, Michael Lesperance, Michael Webster, Mikkel Brown, Midori Morris, Michaela Hatte, Michaela Reck, Morgan Keach, Nancy Cardenas, Naomi Taylor, Nathan Harper, Nathan Lindstrom, Nathan Wood, Nathaniel Singer, Nathaniel DeBello, Neo Firo, Nick McCabe, Octarius Zalera, Odali Garcia, Olivia Cross, Olivia Stosage, Omar Garcia, Orlando Magana, Osalvado Gonzalez, Peyton Richardson, Pedro Leon, Philandra Nez, Phoenix Kinghorn, Piper Corbett, Quinn Coons, Quinn Young, Rachel Albach, Rael Fisher, Ralston Smith, Rihanna Tupper, Riley Barg, Riley Stoddard, Roger Manizo Guyana, Rose Young, Ruby Murdoch, Riker Scott, Riley Wheeler, Riley Wright, Sadie Boyce, Sadie Cook, Sage Wallace, Sakira Morris, Samantha Albertson, Samantha Gutierrez Torres, Samantha Jenkins, Samuel Corey, Samuela Talonga, Savannah Larson, Savannah Nelson, Seth Fielding, Cheyenne Baines, Shaylin Bell, Shayla Antis, Sierra Burton, Skylar Hampton, Slade Cottle, Sophie Mantooth, Spencer Johnston, Spencer Steele, Stenson Bolt, Summer Denning, Sydney Miller, Taylor Bybee, Talon Callister, Tanner Anderson, Tanoa Togiai, Tate Jones, Tayton Hawks, Taylor Davis, Teresa Doe, Tiffany Taylor, Thomas Dickhod, Trayson Treasure, Trevin Crane, Trevin Walker, Trey Talbot, Treese Robinson, Trinity Charlesworth, Veronica Mickelson, Victoria Elder, Warren Lemon, Whitney McNeil, William Bosom, William Lee, William Tabor, Giovanni Ibarra, Zach Moss, Ziggy Falavi.
Class of 2020, please stand.
Please join us in turning our tassels.